I turned 59 last month, and something happened that I never thought would happen to me. I woke up one morning, looked in the mirror, and had this overwhelming feeling that I'd wasted time. Not all of it, but enough of it to matter. And if you're anywhere close to 60 or already past it, I need you to hear what I'm about to say because I wish someone had told me this 20 years ago when I still thought I had all the time in the world. My name is Frances Walker. I taught high school English for 34 years. I was a good teacher. My students loved me. I had summers off, decent benefits, a pension waiting for me. From the outside, I did everything right. But here's what nobody tells you about doing everything right. Sometimes you wake up at 59 and realize you spent decades living someone else's version of a good life, not yours. Let me tell you the moment it hit me. I was sitting in my living room, grading papers like I'd done 10,000 times before, and my daughter called. She's 32, lives across the country, works in tech, makes more money than I ever did. And she said, "Mom, I booked us a trip to Italy, just you and me, 2 weeks. We leave in June." And my first thought, I'm not kidding, my very first thought was, I can't take 2 weeks off. What about my summer school students? I was literally planning my summer around teaching kids who wouldn't even remember my name in 5 years. And my daughter, my actual daughter who wanted to spend time with me, I almost told her no. That's when it hit me. I've been saying no to the wrong things my entire life. So here's the first thing you need to hear before you turn 60. Your time is not infinite anymore. I know, everyone says that, but listen to what I mean. When you're 30, wasting a year feels reversible. When you're 40, you still think you've got time to course correct. When you're 50, you start feeling it, but you tell yourself 60 is the new 40. But when you're 59, staring down 60, you realize that the math has changed. If you're lucky, you've got maybe 25, 30 good years left, years where you can actually do things, travel, learn, experience. And that sounds like a lot until you realize how fast the last 20 years went. I watched my mother waste her last 15 years waiting to travel until my father retired, waiting to start that garden until they moved to a smaller house, waiting to take that painting class until she had more free time. She died at 78 with a bucket list she never even started. And you want to know the worst part? She had the time, she had the money, she had the health. What she didn't have was permission from herself to stop waiting. Here's the second thing. The kids are going to be fine without you. I spent 30 years believing that I was indispensable, that my students needed me, that if I wasn't there, standards would drop, kids would fail, the whole system would collapse. You know what happened when I retired last year? They hired someone else, classes went on, students graduated, life continued, and nobody called me crying that education was falling apart without Frances Walker. The same is true for whatever you're doing. Your job will replace you. Your company will survive. Your church will find another volunteer. Your kids, if they're grown, they're going to live their lives whether you're hovering or not. And I don't mean that in a depressing way. I mean it in a liberating way. You are not the glue holding everything together. You're a person who deserves to have a life outside of being useful to other people. Third thing, and this one's hard, your body has an expiration date on certain experiences. I always told myself I'd hike the Appalachian Trail when I retired. You know what my doctor told me at my last physical? My knees are shot. 34 years of standing in classrooms destroyed my cartilage. I could probably do a few miles here and there, but through hiking, that dream died while I was busy planning for someday. My friend Janet wanted to learn to ski. She's 63 now, broke her hip last winter slipping on ice in her driveway. No skiing for Janet. ever. My neighbor Richard always talked about sailing around the Caribbean. He's 67, had a stroke last year. He's fine, but his balance is gone. No sailing. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to wake you up. There are things your body can do at 60 that it might not be able to do at 70. And there are things you can do at 50 that are already risky at 60. If you have a physical dream, a bucket list item that requires your body to cooperate, you need to do it now. Not next year, not when you lose 10 pounds, not when work calms down, now. Fourth, and this is the one nobody wants to hear, you're probably going to live longer than you think, which means you need more money than you think. But here's the twist. You also can't take it with you. I've been so obsessed with saving, with being responsible, with making sure I have enough for retirement that I forgot to actually live while I can still enjoy the money. I've got a colleague who saved every penny for 40 years, drove the same car for 23 years, never took vacations, retired with over $2 million, had a massive heart attack at 64, and died before he spent any of it. His kids inherited everything. They're grateful. But you know what his son told me? He said, I wish Dad had spent some of that on himself. We would have rather had more memories with him than more money from him. I'm not saying be reckless. I'm saying there's a balance. And most of us, especially teachers, nurses, responsible middle-class people, we err on the side of too much caution. We deny ourselves experiences because we're terrified of running out of money at 85. But what if you die at 70? What if you make it to 85, but you're too frail to do anything? Here's what I decided. I'm spending some money now while I can enjoy it. That Italy trip with my daughter, I'm paying for both of us. It's going to cost me about $8,000. Old Francis would have had a panic attack at that number. New Francis realizes that $8,000 for 2 weeks of memories with my daughter is worth more than $8,000 sitting in an account collecting 3% interest. Fifth thing, and this one's big, your friendships have an expiration date too. I had this whole group of teacher friends. We always said we'd travel together when we retired. You know how many of us actually made it to retirement healthy enough to travel? 3 out of 8, 2 died, cancer and heart disease. 1 has early onset dementia. 2 have health issues that make travel impossible. The 3 of us who are left, we're finally taking that trip we talked about for 20 years. But it's bittersweet because we're doing it without the people we planned it with. If you have friends you keep saying you'll do things with someday, call them today. Make plans, book the trip, have the dinner, take the weekend, because someday might not come for all of you. Sixth, learn something new right now. I always thought I'd learn Spanish when I retired. You know what I discovered? Learning languages gets harder as you age. Your brain doesn't absorb new information the same way. I'm doing it, I'm taking classes, but it's harder at 59 than it would have been at 49. Way harder than it would have been at 39. Whatever skill you've been putting off, whatever hobby you've been meaning to start, the best time was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Your brain is still plastic, but it's getting less plastic every year. Use it or lose it isn't just a saying, it's neuroscience. Seventh, and I cannot stress this enough, stop living for other people's approval. I spent 30 years dressing like a teacher, talking like a teacher, behaving like what I thought a respectable middle-aged woman should be. You know what I did last month? I got a tattoo, a small one on my wrist. It's a quote from Mary Oliver. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? My sister was horrified. She said, Francis, you're almost 60. What will people think? And I realized I don't care. The people whose opinions matter to me think it's cool. Everyone else can think whatever they want. I'll be dead soon enough, and so will they. None of this matters. If you want to dye your hair purple, do it. If you want to wear clothes that aren't age appropriate, wear them. If you want to date someone younger or older or not date at all, Do what makes you happy. You've spent decades conforming. You've earned the right to stop. Eighth thing, repair broken relationships now or let them go. I had a falling out with my brother 15 years ago over something stupid. Money, family drama, the usual. We barely spoke. I kept thinking we'd fix it eventually. Last year, he had a health scare, and I realized, what if he dies and the last 15 years of our relationship were silence? I called him. We talked. It was awkward, but we're rebuilding. And I'm so grateful I didn't wait. If there's someone you need to forgive, forgive them. If there's someone you need to, apologize. If there's a relationship that's toxic and needs to end it. Don't carry that weight into your 60s and 70s. Life's too short. Ninth, your health is not guaranteed. I watched my father go from active and sharp at 70 to needing full-time care at 76. 6 years. That's all it took. Diabetes, then a fall, then cognitive decline. It was like watching someone disappear in slow motion. Every single doctor told him the same thing in his 60s. Lose weight, exercise, manage your blood sugar. He didn't. He thought he had time. If there's a health issue you're ignoring, stop ignoring it. If you need to lose weight, start now. If you need to quit smoking, quit today. If you need to move your body, move it. I'm not saying this from a place of judgment. I'm saying it from a place of having watched people I love lose years of quality life because they didn't take care of themselves when it mattered. And finally, number 10, this is the most important one. You need to know what you actually want, not what you think you should want, not what your parents wanted for you, not what society says you should want at your age. What do you actually want? I realized I spent 34 years as a teacher because it was safe, because my mother was a teacher, because it was respectable, because it had a pension. But if I'm being honest, truly honest, I didn't love it. I liked parts of it. I was good at it, but it wasn't my passion. My passion is writing. I've been journaling since I was 14. I have 37 notebooks filled with stories, observations, ideas, and I never did anything with them because writing wasn't a stable career. Well, I'm 59. Stability is no longer my priority. I'm working on a book. Will it get published? Maybe not. Will I make money? Probably not. But I'll have done the thing I always wanted to do. And when I'm 80, looking back, I won't regret trying. So here's my challenge to you. If you're close to 60 or past it, ask yourself this question. If I died tomorrow, what would I regret not doing? Write down the answer and then do something about it this week, not next month, not next year, this week. Because here's the truth, nobody wants to say out loud, you're running out of time. We all are. And you can either spend your remaining years living or you can spend them waiting to live. I wasted a lot of years waiting. I'm not wasting anymore. That Italy trip, we leave in 43 days. I'm learning Italian phrases every morning. I bought new hiking boots, even though my knees hurt. I'm going to eat pasta and drink wine and walk through ancient ruins with my daughter. And I'm going to soak up every single second of it because I'm 59 and I finally understand that life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just keeps moving. Don't turn 60 without hearing this. Your life is happening right now, not someday, right now. What are you going to do with it?